Hi, my name's Sam Chapman and welcome to the Have It All YouTube channel, where today we're going to be interviewing and you'll hear in audio one of my inspirations, Janey Lee Grace. So Janey, welcome today.
Thank you for inviting me. Hi.
Hi. So basically, I want to find out a little bit about Janey, and obviously the YouTube channel is about having it all. And what that means to me is finding people who, in my mind, are what I call successful, and success, having it all, meaning to be able to do what they love and having success in their life on their terms. And as I say, if you were a multimillionaire and you didn't have your health, that's not success. So it's about people doing inspirational things and doing it their way. And Janey is somebody who has profoundly influenced my life. And when I first had Harry, I really didn't know where to start. And Janey's book was just such a relief for me to realise. And I'll show it now because this is one of her old ones and she has many great new ones. But this is the one that I started with, Imperfectly Natural. And as a high achieving woman, I felt like I had to be the best mom, and it was just sheer relief to think, wow, imperfectly natural, I can just start somewhere and that's okay. So I credit Janey with a massive change in my mindset and helping me really start off my process of trying natural products, and also knowing that if I want to use things that weren't, that was okay too. So Janey, just to get started, can I just ask a little bit of an introduction? Who are you to the people who don't know you, and how did you get started writing books and being on radio, and tell us a bit about you.
So I suppose the first thing to say is that I mean, it's brilliant that you've been so inspired by the stuff that I do, but I really just set out to kind of like you, be the best mum I could be. And, I came to all of this really quite late because I had children quite late. And I was on the radio and I was kind of just talking about the stuff that I love. And then a publisher came to me and asked me to write my first book, which was called Imperfectly Natural Woman. And so I didn't think I could write. In fact, I actually said no. And she said, no, well, people are really interested to hear the things you're talking about on the radio. So we'll help you write the book. And that was how it all got started, really. I think that if she'd never come to me, I don't think I would have this other career. So I'm very grateful to her. And for anyone out there thinking of writing a book, if you've got great content, if you've got ideas, that's the most important thing, not that you're a great writer. So that's really how it came about for me. And then I suppose it just spiraled from there, because I was really so passionate about all of this that I wanted to share it as much as I could.
Brilliant. And so you say you were on the radio. What was your career on the radio? What were you talking about at that time? And did you have children at that point, or so you were on the radio just talking about different products, or what were you doing? And then when did it come?
Well, I've been on Radio 2 for best part of 17 years, which is scary, isn't it? And yeah, it was when I was pregnant with my first child. So yeah, I suppose in a sense it kind of coincided. I'd been at Radio 2 a couple of years, and then I was pregnant with my first, and so I was talking about holistic living, and I suppose it coincides with when I became pregnant. That was when I did become more interested in even more of the holistic living than I had been before. I started off, I was very interested in food and nutrition, but then when I became pregnant, suddenly I realized, okay, I've really got to think about what I put on my skin. I've really got to think about all of those things as well. So then it became much more of a steep learning curve for me, if you like. So I did my research, and I really started to look to find a natural alternative to everything. And that's kind of what I've made my mission over the years, is to try and have that natural alternative to everything.
The thing that I learned from you was the guilt, how not to feel guilty, to just do your best, like you said about imperfectly natural, which was something that with postnatal depression, as a woman trying to balance the career and the baby and still wanting my career and trying to work out who I was, that was the biggest thing that I learned from you, that it was okay. And I still for years have really, I would say, be challenged with guilt of trying to be the best mom and thinking that means I have to be a stay-at-home mom and do the cookies and do all those things. And I do love doing them sometimes, but other times I don't want to do them.
Mm.
And I think your advice to me when we met about that was just something I'd love to share. How do you balance 4 children and what I would say is a very successful career? Because that was something I think is just so important. Your honesty is really helpful.
Well, I wish I could say, you know, I wish I could give you a kind of a magic, you know, bullet, a magic recipe. But the truth is, you know, I have got a million balls in the air, and they're not all in the air. And that's the truth. You know, I'm literally juggling a load of stuff, and it doesn't always work. So, you know, I mean, maybe from the outside, it looks like, you know, plates are spinning, but they really aren't. I think I think it really does actually just come down to accepting the kind of person that you are. And this, I mean, I do believe, you know, as you say, as soon as you have a baby, your middle name changes. Whatever your middle name was, it changes to guilt. That's it. That just is it. And it's really difficult to deal with that. But over time, I think, you know, the best way to be is to be the way you are. Just absolutely be yourself, because your kids respect that. I'm absolutely convinced of that. And you know, for you to try to be anything other than the person you're meant to be. I mean, of course, it's hugely important to be there for your kids. And I really admire stay-at-home mums. I think that's the hardest job of all, actually. It really is. But it's not for everyone. And I think also kids, you know, they're very kids are very astute, and they know when their parents are happy, and they know when that, you know, I love the fact that, you know, I want my kids to grow up and fulfill their potential and do what makes their heart beat faster. You know, that everyone's got a purpose, and if they see you fulfilling your purpose, then they're far more likely to catch the bug, you know, to understand, oh, okay, right, I get it. So some people get up out of bed in the morning really, really excited about the day and really passionate about what they're doing. Great, that's how I want to be. And I think that's far better than having somebody, you know, a parent moping around the place, actually feeling miserable, but feeling they've got to be there.
You talked about self-development, you've done every course. Was there, if you could give one tip to someone who's maybe struggling to accept them and their way of parenting, what would a tip be that you could give to someone who is just maybe not accepting themselves?
Well, there's sort of 2 ends of the spectrum, really. On the one hand, I would say just fill yourself up with inspirational stuff. You know, there are so many podcasts and you know, meditations available for free. Just put good thoughts in your head. You know, read anything by Louise Hay. Grab yourself a podcast that just puts, you know, our thoughts create our reality, really. And it's so easy to go off down that path of, particularly when you're feeling, you know, scared or depressed or whatever it might be. But if you allow those sort of dark thoughts to just overtake all the time, it's just overwhelming. So the best thing you can do is just kind of cover them up, you know, and replace them with the good ones. And and sometimes it can be hard to think of your own. So just grab a meditation tape or a free podcast or read something by Louise Hay, and just sort of try and inspire yourself, really. Try and you know, reframe it. Try and, I don't know, when the kids were little, I used to tell them this little story about how I had this doll. I wish I'd kept it, but I had this doll when I was a kid, and it literally had two faces, you know. So you turned its head around on a kind of dial, and on the one it had this really lovely happy face, and then you literally twisted its head around, it had a sad face. And you know, ultimately you just got to twist the face around, really. It's as simple as that. And then at the other end of the spectrum, if you want, you know, more help, and you can invest a little bit into it, then Family Constellations is, in my certainly in my experience, the most profound, life-changing kind of therapeutic workshop you can ever attend. And if you look up Family Constellations Hearts, there are workshops every month or so, and that is literally completely life-changing. A kind of 90-minute kind of session, makes so many shifts. It's incredible.
I think that's so important as well. Thank you for that, Jenny. For me, it was, I guess, the dawning moment in self-development after 10 years of self-development and developing other people was that there was nothing wrong with me.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's almost, I think, when you go down the route of self-development, you without knowing it unconsciously, you're telling yourself that there's something wrong with you. So when you go on to develop yourself, what actually could be and maybe became at the beginning a beautiful journey of self-discovery, you can even get locked in self-development thinking you need the next thing, because a lot of the courses are designed to lock you into another one, to feel that you need more. And so is all of society, really, with face creams, and if we get older and every single product is designed to tell us there's something wrong with us. So I think it's great. You've told me about family constellations before, and it's something that has really helped you, isn't it?
Yeah, it was really profound. I mean, I think there are lots of different things available for everyone, really. And you're right, this, instead of calling it self-help, sometimes call it shelf help, don't they? And I've certainly got, a mountain of books. I think you've got to find what works for you, and what feels like the quickest way to get to where you want to be. I had one girlfriend who had just sort of counselling, went to see a counsellor for 20 years, every week for 20 years, spent an absolute fortune, got nowhere.
Yeah.
It's got to, you've got to do something that just sort of resonates with you to get you to the place you need to be. And sometimes, it really is just as simple as, listening to a meditation or just getting a book that really kind of triggers everything for you and really helps.
So finding like-minded people to inspire you, things like what we're doing today, getting people who've been through what you've been through, and hanging about with people who make you feel good about yourself. And if you can't find the people, find a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think, things have changed so much. We're so lucky now, with social media. And when I wrote my first book, there wasn't really Facebook group, Facebook, which is bizarre, isn't it? But there were forums, and so, I started a forum. That was one of the first things that I did when the book came out. And it was absolutely amazing, that forum, that we had the most incredible sort of relationships on there, really. And certainly for mums, it was one of the best resources ever. And there still are loads of groups and forums, but to have that resource, if it's 2 a.m. and you're up because you're breastfeeding the baby or whatever it is, you don't necessarily want to call your friends nearby or even wake up your family. So you can just go online and get support from somebody who's been there, done it, got the t-shirt.
However, I am really interested in what you do now. It's all about the life balance and your career. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing now and how you've developed your career to the current day.
Well, I still wear lots of hats. So I still present on the radio, and I still run imperfectnatural.com, which is the sort of, if you like, consumer website. It's a recommendation site, really. I do that just because I really want to find and promote the best natural and organic products and sustainable products. So I have my awards every year. That's really exciting. So recognize the best in natural and organic and sustainable. So I work with, sometimes small brands, sometimes bigger brands, just to kind of try and get their stuff out there. And I'm really passionate about that because I'm always finding new things. And it's great. And I like to kind of pride myself on keeping up with what's out there, so that there is, so that I have got a kind of recommendation, if you like, for absolutely everything. There's not very much that I haven't found, that has a natural alternative. So that's really good. And so that takes up a lot of my time. I also write quite a lot of articles for magazine. I write columns and articles for mags in that kind of arena. And I do a lot of speaking gigs as well. And then with my other hat on, it is all connected, but I also help people kind of get their message out to a wider audience. And really the two things are connected, because when I, often I work with therapists or coaches or someone who's got their own brand, maybe they've got their own products, and I can see their potential, but they don't always feel confident enough to be able to sort of shine the spotlight on themselves and go and speak in public or do a Facebook Live or, you know, a blog or whatever it might be. So that's the kind of work that I do. So media coaching isn't quite the right term for it, but effectively that's what I do. Is I run workshops, and I work with people one-to-one to help them get real clarity on what their key messages are for their work, so that they can promote themselves, get themselves out there, be a great speaker, be a great interviewee.
And that's fantastic, because it fits in with the Have It All channel, which is about doing life success on your terms. And this is what your courses are offering. They're offering people the opportunity to do their passion, and you help them to be able to get themselves out there more. Is that right?
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Perfect. So you've got the course on, there's a course on speaking as well, isn't there? So
I've got on if you go to janeyleegrace.com, that's all the information about the kind of media relations stuff. And I've just done a course with a leading hypnotherapist, and we've called it the Fearless Speaker. And I'm really proud of it, actually, because you've got me offering the kind of the skills and the tips and the techniques to being able to speak in public and present to camera and those things. But then the really great bit is that you've got Georgia Foster, who I've teamed up with, who's doing these guided hypnotherapy sessions, which work on the subconscious mind. So literally you're giving yourself confidence to speak in public, but you're doing it from the subconscious, which is so incredibly powerful. So that's an online course, the Fearless Speaker. And then I've also got another course that I've just completed called How to Market Yourself Personally and Professionally. So that's great for anyone with a small business, or maybe they're an expert or a teacher or a practitioner or a coach, that kind of thing. So there's a couple of online courses there. And
what would you recommend then, if somebody wants to get started and say then they don't quite, they're just new, what would you recommend for somebody to get themselves out there, whether they want to speak on stage? I know it's actually two separate things, really. If someone wanted to speak on stage, or they wanted to, start to make money as a coach, they've just qualified, what would you recommend them in your experience?
Well, I mean, there's a few things. I mean, I've got lots of free resources as well at janeyleegrace.com. And I offer sort of one-to-one kind of like power vision calls with people, where I help them really get clarity on, what they want to focus on and what they want to focus on first, and how they're going to market what they do and what their PR strategy is going to be. So that's an option at one level. And then for an online course, I mean, How to Market Yourself Personally and Professionally is really packed with info that can really help people work out how they're going to stand out in the marketplace, if you like, how they're going to get their message out there. And there's a whole load of kind of assignments on that course that, if you complete them, that's material, that's content and material that you can actually use. So it's not like kind of doing a course for the sake of it. You're actually creating the materials you're going to need as you go along. So obviously I'd recommend that. But I mean, there's lots of free resources out there. I think it's really a case of the thing that I find most when I do talks or workshops is that with a lot of businesses, particularly people who want to help other people, they're working with their passion. I call them, heart-centered entrepreneurs, if you like. So they're not just doing something for money. Not there's anything wrong with earning money, of course, but they're doing it because it's their passion. And I find one of the problems can be that when people are working with their passion, they're really passionate about their product, but they haven't necessarily identified their ideal client. It's so important to do that. They haven't really got their head around, okay, well, who is my ideal client? What magazines are they reading? Where, what websites are they looking at? What social media channels are they on? And when you identify that can really help you decide how you're going to reach those people and how you're going to market your product. So that would be a top tip, really, is get real clarity on that.
Oh, thank you. One last thing that you would give to somebody, is it okay to take the kids to the office, or what, a story or a hint or tip before you go?
Gosh, I think don't be afraid to ask for help. Just ask for help, because you'll be amazed how many people want to help you, and there's always somebody who can help you, and you can't necessarily help them back in the same way, but you can offer them something else. Find what I call 2 a.m. friend. Everybody needs a 2 a.m. friend. Hopefully you won't have to call them too often at 2 a.m., but you need to know there's somebody there at 2 a.m. if you need them.
And did you have family around you when you had your kids?
We had no family at all. that's one of the things.
I know that.
It's one of the things that made it hard, yeah. But you know, we got an au pair, and we found an amazing, absolutely amazing au pair, and that's exactly what I said to the au pair. You know, it's going to be swings and roundabouts. There's going to be some weeks where we don't need you to do very much, and there's going to be other weeks where I'm just going to be, you know, asking if you'll work 3 nights and then take time off instead. You know, and I taught every au pair we had. I taught them this expression, swings and roundabouts, and they all got to know it in the end.
And your husband and you and your husband share a lot as well, don't you?
Yeah,
so
we do.
Which is,
yeah, I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky in that respect, you know, and I totally get that. You know, I've got lots of friends who are single mothers and also trying to run their business, and you know, I can see that the challenges are greater. I totally get that. That's why I'm never one to sort of say, oh, it's really easy, just do it this way, because there isn't one way, I don't think, for anybody.
So, I mean, obviously, if anybody is interested, I absolutely love Janey. She's incredible, and I would highly recommend her courses because, you know, she's been doing it for a long time. She knows what she's talking about. She's on the radio. She's got books. So I think you're such an inspiration, Janey. You have been to me, and I'm so honoured to have you on this. So thank you so much for everything that you've taught me and everything you've taught me today as well. As always, I learn from you.
That's very sweet. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
And if anybody's interested, to janelygrace.com. That's right, isn't it, Janey?
Yeah, that's the media relations site. Or if you want the recommendations for natural products, imperfectlynatural.com.
Perfect. And thank you again so much. It's been wonderful always to talk with you. Thank you, Janey.
Thank you, Sam.
Bye.
Bye.